what's up, guys? Yeah, apparently we got a little controversy. As you guys know, I have almost 1 million followers on TikTok, 315 on Instagram, 6,000 on YouTube, and every now and then I'll do debates, debunks, etc. Well, one of my newest newest rogues is apparently a fan. I still think that's hilarious. So basically, this is what happened. This dude named TJ did a video about Batman, right? He got real passionate about it. And he felt when people asked these questions about why can't Batman, kill all his villains, etc., he then goes, well, why not, why doesn't Ghost Rider stay Ghost Rider, 24/7 and enact vengeance or some shit like that? Like, why don't he just end all crime? Like it's a stupid fucking question. And in his original video, his whole consensus is, well, if Batman was to cure our crime, etc., then there would be no more comics. That's how stupid of a question it is, because if he did this, he literally wouldn't have any more comics. Well, here's the problem, TJ. As I've said before, and as many other people have said, that's never been anybody's issue with Batman. Like, nobody wants Batman to solve all crime. Nobody wants Batman to end poverty. Nobody wants Batman to completely clean up Gotham. Nobody wants that. It's the how can I say, the repetitiveness about it. Like, he just keeps doing the same thing, creating the same never-ending cycle, right? Which is what people are basically, it's their issues. And it's not just regular people who have this issue. It's people who write the character for DC Comics themselves. It's people like Tom McFarlane. Even when Stan Lee was alive, like, writers themselves, writers, directors, you name it, everybody has an issue with Batman's no-kill rule and just the repetitiveness about him as a character. Like, nobody likes it, and people are so tired of having to read the same thing over and over again that it's gotten to a point where everybody on social media, or just everybody in the world, literally complains about it because they want growth. But this is no different than what people do with Spider-Man, right? Especially with his last run. I mean, the writer literally got death threats for how he wrote Spider-Man. Well, in my initial video to TJ, I basically told him, in his first point, he was like, why doesn't, Ghost Rider stay a spirit of vengeance 24/7 and just, basically kill everybody or stop anybody who basically commits sin? And I'm like, well, sweetheart, technically he already does that, right? He already does that. Like, that's what a Ghost Rider's job is, which I made sure to show in my videos. Like, he literally does that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I went on to explain a little bit further than that. And I basically told him, I don't think you know these characters as well as you think you do. And I don't think you understand or just understand how the world works. So maybe you should read just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And there were points in the video where I was all like, because, I'm not trying to call you out. And I was like, nah, I am calling you out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, you're being called out. It's a debunk. It is what it is. It's you're giving a public, reasoning as to why you don't like something or why you don't understand something, and I am not only disagreeing, but I'm giving you the information that you are asking for. But he caught an attitude with that. He got upset. He got mad. He raged out. He just started venting, like how much, like I swear to God, I love your content, but you're condescending. You're blah blah. Like, he got upset. Like, I'm not kidding. Like baby boy got in his feelings. And some of the things that he was upset about was all like, you called me sweetie, or you're like, yeah, you're not as learned as I am about comic books. And I'm just like, well, I never said that. I never said you weren't as learned or anything. I just said I don't think you understand these characters. And this is where, even if he watches this video, he's going to go, oh my God, look, he's trying to make himself sound like he's better than me. But in reality, you can read a lot of comic books. Like, even right now, as I'm talking to you guys right now, I have like a crap load of comic books and books on my desk, right? You can read a lot of comic books, okay. That doesn't mean you know the character. It doesn't. In no way, shape, or form does that mean you actually know the character. So what if you buy a bunch of books? So what if you read a bunch of books? Can you comprehend what you're reading? That's the point. Like, sure, you may read some of these books. You may even watch the movies, and you may feel like you know these characters, but you really don't understand them that well, right? So he got upset about that. He got upset about a lot of things, right? So we went back and forth, etc. And every time I went back and forth, he just, oh my God, bro went to calling me a bitch, all types of stuff, right? Just you fucking name it. But the thing about me is because I am a bigger content creator, I can't really stoop to his level, right? I can't. That's my responsibility as an influencer. So sure, I can take some shots, which he did say. I could take some shots, right? Do a little poke, whatever. But I can't honestly just go band for band with him with the disrespect. I just can't. My platform's bigger. I have more reach, and if I do, then it'll just be seen like, oh my God, you're bullying him or whatever. So I just made sure to debunk him. Every time he made a claim or every time he made a video, he got debunked. And every time he got debunked, he just kept repeating, you didn't understand my point. You didn't understand my point. And I'm like, bro, you made several points. You never actually stuck to one. And every time one of them got debunked, you just made another one. Or you tried to iron it out. Or, well, this is what I'm actually trying to say. Well, cool. That's not what you said in your first video. It's not. It's just not. So I had asked TikTok, the community itself. I said, hey, I tell you guys what. If you guys want me to debunk his entire video, I'll do that for you. I have no problem doing that. The only issue is you're going to have to get me to, like, I say 1,000 comments on this video, which is easy. I can get that easy. It's not even a problem. But I was like, if that's what y'all want, show me you want it. Cool. They got the video to 1,000 comments, right? And when it got to 1,000 comments, I did a 40-minute breakdown because I took his initial video, his first video, right? And I broke it down piece by piece because what he does is, I don't know if he understands debating, but he was shotgunning, right? He was really shotgunning. Like, he was just throwing scenarios in his whole entire video. And there were so many that there's no way you can cover all of that in 2-3 minutes, even 4 minutes. Like again, to answer every question thoroughly and to be able to debunk or answer what he was asking for or give him the proper information, you have to literally go through the whole entire video, deconstruct it, and just go piece by piece. You have to. And that's what I kind of had to do, which is why it's like 40 minutes, right? So I make the video. Bro didn't even watch the video. He's just mad that he got a 40-minute video that I promised I would give the community if that's what they wanted, right? But I think it's funny. The thing that I've learned about TJ is he's very emotional. He's easily bruised. It's not hard to make him feel like he's less than or small, right? Because the thing about me is people call me a bitch, fat, wish death on me, you name it. And that stuff for the most part doesn't make me lash out and just get angry and like it doesn't really do that. Don't get me wrong, there are times where I will get loud, etc., but I don't go there, right? And he admitted himself, that even his own video, that even though I called him sweetie or bookie, etc., he does get online and call people bitches 24/7. But I just think that's kind of like I think this is really hypocritical. Like, you get online and you'll call people out their name and you'll cuss them out and you'll say all these crazy things about them. And the minute somebody even gives you a small percentage of that, you go straight into, oh my God, I was offended. Another thing that he did that I thought was so weird was he was like, every time King Lion gets backed into a corner or every time somebody says something to him, whatever like that, he goes, I help the kids. I help the kids. Look at me buying books for kids. And I'm sorry to tell you this, that is something, like, I do buy books for kids. That's not a shield or anything. That's just something that I actually do. If you guys didn't know, which I know a lot of you guys do know, one of the things that I am kind of like famous for is the fact that I do help a lot of small content creators, even bigger content creators. I do support women and men. And I often go to my local comic shop and I do buy comic books, comic boxes, or whatever a child wants, rather they be a Lego set, you name it. Like, sometimes I just go do that because I want kids, women, adults to feel special. Even on my TikTok, I post all those videos on an actual folder. I call them folders. But it's called Protecting Comic Kids, and it has almost 100 videos. It's like a 76. If I were to film everybody that I've helped, I would probably have a couple hundred. I'm not gonna lie. I would probably have a couple of hundred, but that's just something that I do, and I love to do it. The thing is, a lot of people like TJ, they don't like to hear you brag about your success. They don't want to hear that. Like, that's one of the reasons why I don't even talk about my book sales. I don't talk about my book success for the most part, because every time you talk about success, it does make certain people feel small. It makes them feel belittled. And it's like, bro, what are you upset about? Like, am I not allowed to gloat or talk about my achievements or whatever? Does that make you feel some kind of way? Um, but regardless, I'm making sure that in this video, I'm going to, the first part will give you all 4 of his points, right, in each individual video that he did make. The next video is the 40-minute video that basically shows you how I broke his entire video down, right? In the third, we're kind of like, I'll give you his video so you'll kind of see what I'm saying. Like, they'll be at the end. But the bottom line of what I want you guys to kind of understand is that at no point does he get disrespected or, you know, treated like he's less than or whatever. When I'm doing this video, I'm just debunking him. I'm giving him the information, etc., right? But what I've learned about social media, or just people in general, is like, it doesn't take much to hurt somebody's feelings. They're gonna feel the way they feel. It doesn't matter what you do. So when I kind of understood that as a content creator, I just understood that, like, no matter what you do, people are always gonna look at it as a negative. What's even funnier is, I might even include this in the video. What's even funnier is that in the most recent, like, I'm not gonna say clapback, but response video that I did to him, he was like snooping around my content, and he basically said that I tried to compare myself to Jesus or something, right? What's crazy is I often will go live and I will help smaller content creators. If somebody needs information or they want advice, I'll give them the advice for free. And this young man came up and he wanted to know, how can he write better? And I said, okay, cool, let's talk about it. And he told me, you know, one of the things that I love about you is the fact that you don't let people, you know, put you down. You know, if somebody says something to you, or if somebody's giving you mean comments, you don't let that break your spirit. And I said, well, you got to understand, when people are doing things like that, you got to understand where it's coming from. Once you understand where it's coming from, then those things really don't bother you like that, right? And I'm not religious, and he's not either, but I do read. You know, I do read the Bible from time to time, and there is a passage that I like. I think it's John 15:18 or 18:15. It's one of them, but basically it states that Jesus is basically saying to one of his disciples that if they hate you, remember they hated me first. And what he's trying to say is, you have to understand that when you are a part of the world, like you're a part of the crowd, people are naturally going to love you because you're one of them. But when you decide to kind of like step out of that and walk into your own path, or the path that's been set for you, the world will treat you a certain way because you're no longer one of them. And that's just how that is. People are always going to do that, but that's just human nature, right? He took that and he was like, oh my God, did he just try to say that he's MLK and Jesus? And I'm like, no, that's in no way, shape, or form. That's not even me comparing myself to Jesus or MLK. That's just kind of crazy. But I think the problem is that TJ is a fan. That's all that really is. TJ is a fan. And that's what he's upset about. Apparently, as he stated in his second video, he how can I put it? I inspired him to be what he is today. When he was live, he talked about how he watched my content and he took what I did and he basically kind of like incorporated into what he is. So basically, he's a product of me, if you want to keep it 100. And the crazy part is, apparently I lashed out at him as he tried to, I guess, explain in the video. He was like, there was a lie that I was doing with my brother, right? And as a content creator, or even as a celebrity, you name it, there are times when we get mentally weak and just anything irritates us, right? Or we're not at our best. So he says that he asked me a death battle question and I called him ignorant because it sounded ludicrous. And I'm not going to lie, it did kind of sound ludicrous because I don't even remember it. But he says the death battle was Lobo versus Black Bolt. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, well, let's just keep it 100. Lobo, he can pretty much regenerate from a drop of blood, kinda. But it can take a minute, right? If specifically if he's like, if you destroy him down to like an atom, it'll take a while for him to come on back. But I was like, when it comes to Black Bolt, there is so much that Black Bolt can just kind of do to him, just because of how powerful he is. Like, Black Bolt can literally contend with the Hulk. So the strength the strength is there, right? But just his voice by itself, like, you'll never get close to him. You'll literally never get close to him. Like, it takes somebody like Thanos to stop someone like Black Bolt, right? But I apparently, from what he says, I went off on him. I was all like, why would you ask me an ignorant question like that? Or see, these are always people always asking the ignorant questions or something like that. And I'm just sitting here, I don't even remember it. But he says the second time he came to one of my lives, I was like, no, he was in my comment section. He said he just kept spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming. And he wanted my attention. And when I finally looked at it, I was like, it was the same death battle apparently. And I was like, oh my God, fuck it, Lobo. I just throwing some shit out there. And he took offense to that. And I'm like, bro, obviously, can you not see that these are times when I'm just not at my best or whatever? Like, I don't even remember that any of this stuff happened. I'm not kidding. I don't. But he took it to heart, and I guess he's been upset ever since or whatever like that, right? But it is what it is. Like I said, in his mind, I am the bad guy or whatever. As he states, King Lion is always trying to play the victim, and I'm just, sure, buddy. Even though I have hundreds of videos where people come after me first and call me out my name and talk crazy to me, you name it, right? But I'm the one playing the victim. But like I said, that's why I made sure, like in a lot of my debates, etc., I'm not going to call you out your name. I'm not going to talk down to you. I'm not going to do any of that. You might get called sweetie. If you're not reading the book or you're not actually reading the information, you might be called illiterate. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It's always going to be something soft. I'm not just going to come after you and just call you a stupid, worthless piece of shit or something like that. That's not going to happen. Again, sweetie, Buki, and honey. One of the reasons why I do that, though, I have a lot of kids who watch me. I have a lot of kids who watch what I do. The most that I will cuss or I will do stuff like that is when I'm doing content, right? If I'm doing R-rated content specifically, like my hood retellings. Other than that, I try not to. I have a lot of kids who look up to me. I have a lot of people who watch me, and I don't want them thinking that that's okay to do that to somebody. Because when I first got on social media, I can admit I was a monster. I did not care. I did not care at all. You said something to me that was crazy, I was going to come after you, and I wasn't going to care how it made you feel. I just wasn't. But I had to learn that there are better ways to handle yourself. There are better ways to conduct yourself, and that's not a way that I have to conduct myself. I can be better. I can do better. So I choose to do better. But besides that, you guys, please enjoy the content. Please enjoy. I hope you enjoy the video. Again, the video by itself is 40 minutes. I will be including everything else with it. And yeah, besides that, you guys have a great day. I'm King Lion. And as I said, I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get going.
Why doesn't Batman just use all of his money to help Gotham? Why doesn't he get a magic user to come uncurse Gotham? Why doesn't he get Superman to come help with Gotham? Why doesn't he do this? Why doesn't Ghost Rider hunt down every criminal on the planet before they can do crime? He can sense crime. He can sense sin. Why doesn't Ghost Rider stay in Ghost Rider form at all times, drive around and stop crime? It's because it's fucking stupid, dude. And then we wouldn't have fucking comic books. It's a dumb fucking question. My question is, why doesn't Spider-Man go 100% in every engagement? Why doesn't Superman go 100% in every engagement, stop all crime, end everything instantly? It's the same argument people have with Batman. Why doesn't Batman use his money to stop everything ever, forever? Only harp on Gotham, and let's only harp on Batman. That's the point of my video. And my point here is the fact that everyone accepts it with every other character but Batman is fucking annoying.
I'm sorry. I'm petty. I promise y'all some BTA. You gonna get it. Get you some popcorn. Find you a seat. Get ready to lock in. Now, TJ did say he wanted to discuss his point, so I said, cool. Let's do it. Since we already debunked his other points, let's just go to his point in, I think, video 3 or 4, and just hit his core issue.
My point is just extend the same fucking hatred like this to everybody. Extend the same fucking hatred and scrutiny you do to Batman to every other fucking character, dude. Because there's so many comics I'll read, and I'll just be like, why is Superman allowing this to happen? There's so many comments I'll read where I'll be like, why is Flash allowing this to happen?
Well, sweetheart, you can't. You cannot extend that same hatred or vitriol to any other superhero or all the other characters in Marvel or DC, because those characters actually do their job, but I'm pretty sure you knew that. For instance, out of all the cities in DC or in Marvel, none of their cities are as bad as Gotham City. None of them. And none of their cities are burning or just in complete destruction 24/7 because of them, like when it comes to Batman and Gotham. That should just be common sense, though. Don't worry. We're going to explain it. Let's take Central City, for instance. The Flash does such a good job in his city. Not only does he have a museum, but he has an actual day dedicated to him. While at the same time, he's so good at stopping crime within Central City that if you just steal a lollipop from somebody, he's on your ass. and he'll chase you throughout time and space to get that lollipop back and make sure it gets to the right person, because Flash's rogues, they already know how he works. You see, when it comes to Batman, he'll break your bones. When it comes to Superman, he'll send you to Iron Heights. But when it comes to the Flash, he'll actually talk to you. He'll give you a chance. And, he'll make you really believe that you could be doing better. And that's how Flash solves a lot of crime in his city, because he actively not only checks on his rogues, but he works with them. You see, Flash realized he can't stop crime. Nobody can. But he can control it. You see, if they're going to commit a crime, cool. But no kids, no cops, and no people should be getting hurt. And if they do, it is what it is. And that's why Central City is just such a beacon of hope. That's why it's so clean. That's why it's so amazing. That's why usually when you read a Flash comic, a lot of the problems within Central City are usually outside of the city's control whatsoever. From gods, aliens, interdimensional beings, you name it. He's pretty much taking care of most of the low-level crime within his city. Well, what about Metropolis? Metropolis is also in the same boat as Central City. For instance, Action Comics 1064. The average every day in Central City is sunny, it's peaceful, it's clean. Everybody's enjoying their everyday life, and for the most part, a lot doesn't really go on. And usually, if there is something that happens in Metropolis, it's not the city's fault, it's not Superman's fault. It's usually something that, resides outside of outside forces, like Brainiac invading, or Lobo invading, or worse, an interdimensional god, imp, you name it. Other than that, Metropolis is pretty much safe. What makes it even better is that a lot of Superman's rogues, like Parasite, you name it, actually work with Superman. Even Screaming Banshee is dating Jimmy Olsen right now. She's no longer a villain. She's basically an anti-hero. And Clark Kent, Superman, is actually an active part in a lot of his villains' lives. It is what it is. Even in Steelworks, you have Superman working with Steel to not only make Metropolis a safer and better place. And when Steel found a way to basically upgrade Metropolis and bring it to a new age, Clark was the one that was right there by his side to help him bring it to the world. The only problem was it would have literally caused some problems. So what happened? Steel realized he couldn't use that technology, at least not yet. So he had to figure out something else. And Clark Kent said, don't worry, I'm going to help you along the way. He even had Atomic Skull working with them to help them with a situation that they needed dealing with. Atomic Skull is one of Clark's old villains who works with them. Same thing when it comes to Nightwing and Bloodhaven. Nightwing has Bloodhaven being a lot better than Gotham is. Hell, look at everything he's done with the Titans, the Justice League, you name it. He even started the Pennyworth Foundation, which seeks to not only end poverty, but it's actually moving in the right direction, in which Clark Kent was willing to help him with this too. Now, let's say if you want to use a character like Black Panther, for the most part, Wakanda is safe. His city is thriving. Same thing for the Intergalactic Empire, because Black Panther, as we all know, owns about 5 galaxies, in which not only does he have to survey those 5 galaxies, they are also thriving. Then when you look at cities like New York in the Marvel Universe, New York is also thriving because low-level crime is taken care of by the police. The superheroes don't really have to take a hand in that on a consistent basis because, again, from Reed Richards to Iron Man to you name it, they all upgraded the police force with the approval of Luke Cage, who is also the mayor. And some of Spider-Man's old villains actually do work with the police. And some of them aren't bad guys anymore either, So TJ, the reason why you can't take that same scrutiny with Batman and try to apply it to other superheroes is because other superheroes are actually doing their job, not just for their city, but the entire world. I mean, for the love of God, Reed Richards has Nobel Peace Prizes and so many other scientists of the Marvel Universe. And for the most part, when these cities are being destroyed or being taken down, it's not by low-level crime or the mugger or the thief, etc. It's by things that normal people normally can't deal with that. Whereas when it comes to Gotham, a lot of its problems stem from Batman. Failsafe taking over Gotham City and allowing crazy madmen to just take over and do whatever they want and kill people just all night long. Yeah, that's Batman's fault. Failsafe then basically being reactivated to take over the earth and enslave pretty much all the superpowered individuals and take their powers away. Yeah, that's Batman's fault too. Joker War is Batman's fault. Tower of Babel is Batman's fault. Like, the list goes on of a lot of things that happens within Gotham or the world that is his fault. Like, he does it. Whereas when it comes to Mr. Terrific, S.H.I.E.L.D., or even the Justice League, everybody, for the most part, their cities, their sectors, you name it, are safe. They're progressive. They're not being destroyed because of them. And the difference between Batman and all the other heroes is that these heroes are willing to let anybody and everybody help to basically solve these problems. Whereas, although Batman does accept help from the Justice League, including ones that he knows very well to help him in his own city, he is still very mistrusting of everybody else, in which Clark isn't. Which is an argument they most recently had where Clark gave everybody a Justice League membership. And Batman felt that was the wrong thing to do, but Clark said it himself, we needed them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We needed them. Like you got to stop being so untrustworthy. Because that is still a problem that he deals with today, even though he is still willing to let people help him. It's only those he's known for years. So again, TJ, the reason people are always giving Batman such scrutiny, and they don't give that scrutiny to other superheroes, etc., is because a lot of those superheroes actually do their jobs, and they're the reason why their cities and areas or world or sectors are progressing at the rate that they are, where low middle crime really isn't even a problem in their own cities. It's only him that is still so far behind. And a lot of it is his fault, TJ. It's literally his fault. And I don't know why you can't see that, or why you're so frustrated when not only does DC Comics themselves say this, not only do they say this about him in his own movie, not only do they say this about him in his cartoons, his comics, his video games, the writers themselves have said this. And you are arguing with something that everybody is just tired of. So again, you cannot take that same level of scrutiny with other superheroes because they do their job, TJ. But you knew that. Let's move on. Now, this is the part where we basically answer his questions and debunk his original video. Now, let's get to the first point that he had, or let's just get to the beginning of the video.
Arkham helps fund hospitals, helps fund the... Why doesn't Batman just use all of his money to help Gotham? Why doesn't he get a magic user to come uncurse Gotham? Why doesn't he get Superman to come help with Gotham? Why doesn't he do this? Why doesn't...
So as you guys can see, what he's trying to say is that these are some of the complaints that people have all the time. And don't worry, we're going to get to the rest of the video because his ending point in this video is that if you were to solve everything, then it would be fucking dumb, right? It would be dumb, it'd be stupid, etc. His reasons as to why doesn't Batman just use all his money to cure Gotham? That's easy, because it doesn't matter how much money you put into Gotham if Batman himself is going to be the reason that Gotham itself is going to burn down. Again, it does not matter how much money Batman throws at Gotham. If Batman is going to be the biggest reason that city is being ran through night after night, almost burned to the ground, or repeatedly destroyed, you can throw all the money in the world at Gotham. But if Batman is going to allow his rogues and his villains to just keep destroying everything that he throws at it, then what's the point? It doesn't matter. Sadly enough, Batman doesn't even put his money in the right spot, which Barbara Gordon told Batman after Joker War. And this is because what Batman and his rogues gallery do to Gotham is a type of gentrification. What does that mean? That means Batman's rogues goes into Gotham and they destroy a large portion of it, okay? Batman's rich friends then come through and they buy up all the destroyed areas and run people out, which is exactly what Barbara Gordon told Batman. This war is damaging the city. It's hurting innocent people. And your rich friends are buying up all the property. And when Batman normally donates, he doesn't really donate to the right spot, as you can see. And it took Barbara Gordon telling him where to put that money for him to actually put money in the right spots. But it doesn't matter if Batman himself and his rogues are going to destroy the city all over again, or bring fire and death and destruction to what he already put money into, just for his friends to come and just buy it all. Now, this part of the video is basically answering all of his questions and debunking any of his claims. So let's get the first one.
He do this? Why doesn't Ghost Rider hunt down every criminal on the planet before they can do crime? He can sense crime. He can sense sin. Why doesn't Ghost Rider stay in Ghost Rider form at all times, drive around and stop crime?
Well, as I've already stated, he already does that. Like, Johnny Blaze already drives around the world, town to town, basically doing exactly what you're saying that he should do. And you're right about that part. Yeah, he can sense sin. And when he senses sin, the writer will take over. The writer itself will judge if that person or demon or whatever needs to be taken down or what action should be taken. The thing about Ghost Rider is he knows. So even if you're sinning, if he knows that you're just angry, or if you're actually a good person and maybe you're just messing up, he will just absolve you of your sin. Because you know, not all sin is equal. He doesn't have to annihilate everybody. But if something is wrong and he's near or he feels it, he will act and he will stop it. Because as you said, why doesn't he just go around the world or town to town just basically stopping sin? Again, even on this panel right here, Ghost Rider is doing the very thing that you are saying. Like what you're asking for, he already does. He goes town to town all around the world stopping sin. And a lot of times He does it without him even wanting to. Now, if your thing is, well, why doesn't he just stay like that? Why doesn't he just stay Ghost Rider 24/7 and just do it 24/7? Well, he's already doing it 24/7, but the writer itself will let him go, because I don't know if you know this, but sometimes when it comes to being a Ghost Rider, you don't have full control over that power, because it takes two entities to become a Ghost Rider. And when Zarathos is done with Johnny, he then allows him to be human, specifically when he has forced him to be a rider against his will. Now, I know for a fact you brought up the Hulk situation when that little boy got taken out by his dad, and your question was, why wasn't Ghost Rider there for that? Well, that's a simple answer. He can't be everywhere all at once. But if you want to know where he was when that situation even took place, he was dealing with the situation with the spirits of vengeance, because his job isn't just to stop sin, it's also to handle situations that would cause humanity or the universe to be destroyed. And that's kind of why he wasn't where he needed to be, because he was handling something else. Let's go to your next one.
Why doesn't Flash stay as a lightning bolt like he did in Kingdom Come? Why doesn't he just stay a constantly running fucking hero that stops crime whenever it happens?
Well, TJ, if you had read Kingdom Come, then you would know that's not how that worked. But before we even get to that, let's get on to why Flash doesn't have to do that. Well, for the most part, when it comes to Central City, Flash does such a great job that Central City is clean, it's thriving, it's beautiful. And not only does Flash work with his rogues gallery to keep it that way, but Flash's villains know, like, you can't steal a sucker from a child and think you finna get away with it, because Flash is gonna stop you and he's gonna get that sucker from you and he's gonna save the day like he always does. Crazy enough, his villains actually talk about this. They talk about how when it comes to the Flash, or even when it comes to Superman or Batman, Batman, he'll break your bones. Clark will take you to Iron Heights, but the Flash will actually talk to you. He'll basically show you that you can be a better person. And that's actually how he's reformed so many of his villains. And the crazy thing is, like, they know this. That's why Central City is such a beacon of hope, because Flash works overtime, not only to protect the citizens, but to reform his own rogues. And they know there's nowhere they can really go, with him being around, because he knows where they all are. He knows where all their hiding spots are. He knows who they are, where they live, all of that. And periodically he will check up on them just to make sure they're good and, they're not basically doing some old habits that could cause them harm or somebody else. That's why Flash doesn't have to turn into a lightning bolt and do that, because he does his job. I mean, even if we look at everything that the Flash can do, even now, currently in his comics, rather you want to go with Wally West, who can literally travel from city to city to city to city, he still can't be everywhere all at once. No matter how hard Barry Allen tried, he can't either. There's only so much a speedster can still do, even with their powers and abilities. And if you're a Flash fan, then you know that this is something that the Flash had to learn a long time ago in his career. Even with all the people that he saved, there was a time when he couldn't save 2 kids. And that's when he had to learn, like a lot of other heroes, that you can't save everybody. No matter how hard you try, you're not perfect. And because you're human, you're going to fail every now and then. Now, when we look at Kingdom Come, we see a speedster in a city who basically is a lightning bolt, as you stated. And he is everywhere all at once. But he technically isn't either, because all around the world in every other city there is still crime that he's not present in. People are still doing dastardly deeds, and it takes other superheroes to save the day, because again, even with all his powers, he can't be all around the world. He's gonna miss something. Sure, he may be able to do this, in a citywide area, sure, but around the world, I'm sorry, like nobody just has that power unless you're God. And the comic shows us that, again, there is still crime being done in every city around the world. And when that happens, I'm sorry to tell you, it still takes all the heroes coming together to stop it. And let's say the Flash did that, right? Let's say he actually committed himself to doing that. He wouldn't have a life whatsoever. It's not that his stories would be boring or whatever. No, I think somebody could write a good story like that, but it'd be a very sad story, because he would never have time for a family. Just like this Flash, he would spend every second, every moment of his life saving the day, at least as much as he could. But even if he was like this, he can't save everybody, in which the comic does prove that. Let's get to your next point.
Crime whenever it happens. Why doesn't Flash put an earpiece in that's connected to Superman, so that every time Superman hears a crime, Flash can go stop it?
Yeah, they already do that. They've always done that. Like, Flash has an earpiece in his ear, just like everybody else, and they already They already kind of do that. They even use boom tube technology to basically teleport any superhero wherever they want them to go. And currently, they use Martian Manhunter and Red Tornado to basically coordinate any of their movements or anything that they need to do. Like if the planet's dying, or if the sun is getting messed up, or if just something happens, they'll know about it for the most part, and they usually just send the heroes to go take care of it. Okay, what was your next one?
Doesn't Superman just float above the planet in orbit like a satellite, and every time someone's about to do a crime, shoot their hand with heat vision? Oh, they're about to steal something? You're about to rob somebody? You pull a gun out? Why doesn't he just stop that?
I mean, Clark kind of already does that. It's kind of why Metropolis and the planet is kind of where it is now, because he's constantly surveying the planet. The issue is, the reason why he would not be able to do it even if he tried is because, one, he cannot be aware of everything, and two, he can't see everything. Let's take Gotham, for instance. As we know, Superman and Batman have been in both cities, and Clark has literally stated that it's pretty much impossible for him to see through all the buildings because they're full of lead. Like, a lot of Gotham is just full of lead. And because of that, he can't be aware of everything that happens in Gotham, nor can he see everything that happens in Gotham. And Gotham isn't the only place that's like that the government has purposely built to where he just can't see what's going on. So even if he was to go into space or into orbit and try to laser any type of crime that happened, he would still miss something because he can't see everything. They prove this in World's Finest when they're trying to find a little boy or a young man, whichever one fits your preference. And Clark needs help to find him because he can't see through Gotham. He literally can't find the Joker or find out where his hideout is because Clark can't see through everything. Even with his super hearing and superpowers and speed and him being able to see through he can't see through it. Again, that's because most of Gotham is still made out of lead. But it is because of that very reason that Superman he's so close to the ground. His ears are so low, because he has to make sure that he can see everything. He can try to find everything. That's why he's constantly just surveying the planet at all times. Which is also one of the big reasons that basically Metropolis is just doing so well. But even when you have days like this, a lot of times when something bad happens, as Clark is sensing and hearing, it may be because of an invasion or something that's outside of the planet's control. But it's not because of low-level crime. Because for the most part, when it comes to Central City, Metropolis, you name it, these cities are quite peaceful. There was a point where you brought up how Iron Man could just, build a protective net around the Earth. And, well, he doesn't have to do that because S.H.I.E.L.D. did it already. And they tested it quite thoroughly. Even Steelworks was actually working on that project, too, where he wants to build, shielding around all the buildings of Metropolis or even the world, keep people safe. The problem was the energy source they wanted to use needed to get replaced. Clark is also not alone in this because his family surveys Earth constantly. Even with all these Kryptonians and all that power, there is still crime that happens. No matter how powerful they are, they can't be everywhere all at once, but they do try. And because they try so hard and they're so diligent in it, not only do his rogues help him out, but Metropolis and cities like Bloodhaven are just thriving because of it. So to reiterate, Clark cannot go into space and just laser everybody's hands to stop them doing crimes because he's not going to be able to see it all, because there are some places that he just can't see through, specifically like Gotham, where majority of the buildings are filled with lead. Because they are lined with lead, he cannot see through those walls, and there is a lot of crime that's going to get past him. It's almost as if somebody, could have fixed that with just money, because that's dangerous for humans to live around. Well, okay, let's get to the next one.
Why doesn't Martian Manhunter just telepathically connect to every human on the planet and purge the sin from their fucking mind?
That's a good one, TJ. Martian Manhunter could absolutely connect to humans, other types of life, like sea life, you name it, and he could purge the sin out of their mind. Could he do it to everybody? Absolutely not. And the ones that he did not do would ultimately stop him from doing it, because you have been inadvertently taking away people's free will. Now, how do I know this? Well, we've seen characters like Ghost Rider do it. Ghost Rider has the ability to purge sin out of an individual's body, while simultaneously being able to forgive or purify somebody's sin, as you can see here. Now, if you take sin out of somebody, right, if you just purge them of sin, what ends up happening is that person technically isn't human anymore. They are just a living husk. That's it. Whoever they are on the inside is gone. Like, they They're just going to be a walking, talking, drooling mess. Not even talking. Now, here's the problem. Just like in DC, Marvel also has characters that are immune to this effect. And because of that, would naturally band together and stop the person that's trying to neuter everybody. So what you just asked has already been done before, TJ. And in comics, they pretty much have a built-in failsafe to make sure that just doesn't happen. Although it most possibly could, just people would stop it. What's the next one?
Why doesn't Professor X just reach across humanity and say, you love mutants now? Why doesn't he just reach across humanity and stop every crime from ever happening? Just reach into everyone's brain, fix every mental illness, fix every single bad thought, and make it good. Why doesn't that happen?
I mean, it's not like Charles Xavier hasn't tried similar things. Like, one of the reasons humans hate him is because he's used his telepathic ability to force people to do some horrible stuff. So they have contingencies for him. So even if he attempted to try that, they would have a way to stop it. Like, for instance, the Eternals is a perfect example. The Eternals require human beings so that they can resurrect using the Earth engine machine. Yeah, they'd kill him for that. Then you got Hulk, Nimrod, who hates mutants, Sentinels. If you really want to think about it, any magic type user, avatar to a god, most of the meta and superhumans, yeah, they would definitely just stop all that, because you're basically impeding on people's free will. And anytime Charles Xavier does something, or anybody does anything where it's like they're trying to take over the world or harm somebody, the comics have always written themselves in a way to basically stop it. I mean, we can go down the list. Eternals in Judgment Day. They tried to wipe out the mutants. World War Hulk. Superior Iron Man. House of M. Cosmic Iron Man, when he became a cosmic god, not only did like the living tribunal in the world, just the universe itself, its hierarchy, come to let him know that it would stop him if he ever perceived himself to be a problem, or if he just became a problem, period. They would handle him. Even though he took over the minds of everybody on Earth, there were those who were able to resist that mind control or that mind manipulation, again, by someone who became a god, and they all fought back. A lot of them died, but they all did fight back. I mean, even when you look at One World Under Doom, which is almost the same thing, I mean, there you go. Again, TJ, a lot of the things that you're saying, well, why doesn't this happen? Why don't they just do this? Why don't you just blah, blah, blah? Well, a lot of those things have happened already, and those characters have defenses for that because they've already stopped it. But go on.
Single bad thought and make it good. Why doesn't that happen? It's because it's fucking stupid, dude. And then we wouldn't have fucking comic books. It's a dumb fucking question.
But TJ, therein lies the problem. It's a question that nobody's asking. You see, nobody wants Batman to solve all crime. Nobody wants Batman to end all poverty. Nobody wants that. People are just tired of Batman doing his hypocritical shit, where he says, oh, look, I threw money at this problem. Isn't that going to help Gotham? When you then allow your rogues gallery to come in, destroy what you rebuilt, just so your rich friends can come by and buy up that area and push all the people out. That's called gentrification. These are the same things that Barbara Gordon brought to his attention. Again, every time there's a war that gets started, usually in Gotham, it's his fault. And when Joker or one of his rogues destroys the city and just messes it up, his rich billionaire friends will go and they will buy up all that property and move people out. That's called gentrification. Now, when Batman puts his money back into Gotham, he doesn't put it back in the right spot, which is what Barbara Gordon is telling him, which is why she asked him, where did you put your money? You know where he did? He said, I put it in a museum. Also put it in the academy, the hospitals, and the GCPD. That's not going to help Gotham. As she stated, you need to put that money back into the areas that your villains destroyed, and your rich friends are going to buy up to move in more of their rich friends, making people more poor. People are tired of this repetitive shit. A lot of things could change in Gotham, and Gotham would see so much better if Batman would just stop being a hypocrite and actually help people. For instance, your next points were what?
Question. I thought we were over this shit, bro, and it's always Batman, dude. It is always Batman. Why doesn't he use his money? Why doesn't he use his money? Why doesn't he use his money? Yeah, throw some bills at Solomon Grundy. Yeah, throw a couple million at fucking Poison Ivy.
I mean, no offense to Solomon Grundy, you don't actually have to throw money at him. You could just put his ass on an island somewhere, maybe the Phantom Zone. I mean, Batman has boom tube technology. There's no reason why he can't just send Grundy to a distant planet somewhere. But in reality, Batman kind of already solved the problem with Grundy. Grundy's not really an issue as long as you leave him alone. I mean, we kind of see that in Long Halloween. He really isn't a rogue that just causes that much of a problem, seeing as Batman does feed him. And it's quite easy for Batman to take out Solomon Grundy. He's not that big of an issue. It doesn't require money. You You just have to flip him. When it comes to Poison Ivy, on the other hand, you don't have to throw a couple billion at her. You don't got to do any of that. You just got to stop beating her, which is what Batman is told. Because when it comes to Poison Ivy, she can do for Gotham what he can't. Verbatim stated. Can't make this up. Actually, not even Gotham. She could change the world in a way that Batman and nobody would ever be able to do. That's a fact. It just requires Batman not putting his hands on her and beating her half to death, which the comic tells you. If he would just help her and not hurt her, there's so much more that could be, done. But he won't do that because he likes to put his hands on people left and right. In which the comic itself literally states that Batman is not going to change his ways and he's going to keep doing what he's doing. Oh, would you look at that? Years later, still beating the dog shit out of her, as usual. But TJ, what was next?
Yeah, when Barbados was like residing under Gotham or whatever, throw a couple billion at him. That'll work.
Actually, to stop that doesn't cost a couple $1 billion. You just got to call your super friends. That's pretty much how you solve that problem. Literally just call your friends and y'all can come together, get a special medal together and stop him. Doesn't cost $1 billion.
It doesn't. Professor Pig, throw a couple billion at him. Mad Hatter, throw some bills at him, bro. That'll fix him.
Whoa. Professor Pig dissects people. Mad Hatter is insane. Shoot him. Why would you? That's the problem. Trying to throw money at him and trying to fix someone who eats people, dissects people. Shoot him. Literally shoot him. What are we? You're can't shoot him. Shoot him. What you mean throw a couple billion for what? Shoot him. Like what was that? Shoot him.
And Clayface, Professor Pig, Mad Hatter, they might be different because Clayface has been a hero before. Mad Hatter and Professor Pig, you could try to say that's linked to mental illness and shit. But Batman in the comics helps fund mental hospitals, helps fund Arkham, helps fund hospitals, helps fund the GCPD. Like, bro, questions that have been asked before. It's stupid to try to presume that would just work.
Yeah, TJ, that's already been discussed. Barbara Gordon already got on him about putting his money in hospitals and GCPD and Gotham Academy. Okay, and you're like, oh, well, he funds Arkham Asylum. Yeah, the same place that Amanda Waller and the government was using for Suicide Squad. Okay, you fund a hospital that takes the same people that you take off the street and put in there for help and experiments on them and uses them as weapons of mass destruction to harm the innocent. Yeah, I don't think that's how that should work, TJ. You're just creating more problems. Again, you have a hospital that is used to torture and manipulate and harm the very people who have been, put into trauma, and so they don't get better. And instead, they're handpicked by the government and used as weapons. Here's what's crazy, TJ. He's aware of that. Yeah, no, he knows that, TJ, right? You understand that. Batman understands the government puts children in prison and takes people who are mentally ill and turns them into weapons to go harm other children. So what was that point for? He puts money in the hospitals. He puts money into the GCPD. He has to. You have to have a hospital to put all the people in that your villains are hurting. You need more police officers to basically survey the villains that you keep letting run free. He doesn't really have a choice in that, TJ. So that wasn't even a point. You know what I'm saying? It is weird. I'm pretty sure you knew that. Let's move on.
Why doesn't Superman just one punch everyone? Oh, why doesn't Spider-Man take out every villain before they do anything? He said before in comics, he holds back in every fucking fight ever. Then why did he let Rhino run through that school bus? Why did he let Rhino take down that apartment building? He could have just one punched him.
Well, that's an easy fix. First things first, Superman is not Batman. And not every villain deserves to die. Not every crime you commit deserves a one-shot punch. It's just that's not necessary. As for Rhino is just a very misunderstood character. He's not a bad guy at all. He's actually a good guy. He's simply just been through a lot. But one of the things that makes Rhino so unique when it comes to Spider-Man's rogues is that Peter can just talk to him. Like if something's wrong, Peter can literally talk to him. For instance, when Rhino lost the love of his life, he rampaged. He was angry. Nobody got hurt. He just wrecked his house. Now, Peter Parker, for the most part, trying to stop him, trying to calm him down, and he did. You see, he was able to talk to him. He was able to get through to him, and when he did, he helped Rhino calm down so that he could be detained and they could try to figure this out. It's kind of always like that with them. Like, if he needs to just talk to him and tell him to stop, he can do that. Does Rhino cause trouble? Sure. But he's actually not a bad guy. He's a very beloved character, in the Marvel Universe. But Spider-Man, just like Superman, they do a very good job not only protecting their city, working with their villains, but they also do a great job of incorporating them into their everyday life, which is why they don't have to kill any of their villains, because they do a good job rehabilitating their villains and turning them into heroes. I mean, Superman does it all the time. What's your next question?
He could have just taken him out. Why does he let fucking Shocker continue to rob banks? Why does Green Goblin continue to go bad?
Oh, as for the Goblin situation, yeah, Peter did what Batman couldn't do, and he rehabilitated Norman Osborn. Yeah, he killed the Goblin spirit. Yeah. So, it's because he's not Batman. He actually tries to help his villains. You know what I'm saying? Like, he actually tries to be there for them. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Now, as for the Shocker, why is he allowed to rob banks? He's not. He gets thrown in the jail like everybody else. The only problem is Shocker is a special case. He doesn't really destroy buildings or hurt people or anything like that. Like, for instance, in the newest issues of the Amazing Spider-Man series, right, we have Shocker out here robbing a money car. Is he hurting anybody? Absolutely not. Is he hurting the officers? No. The most he did was bust the tire up, lift it up a little bit, and that was it. He got what he wanted and he left. You see, Peter doesn't have to go that hard on his villains. He'll catch up to him eventually. Shocker really isn't a villain that people really worry about because he doesn't really do a lot of public harm, doesn't hurt people, and there aren't any casualties when he's doing what he's doing. What's even crazy is if you read Venom Zombiote, he actually helped She-Hulk and everybody else out. Like, he saved them because sometimes Shocker is actually a hero. He's not a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, he's a thief, sure, but he's not going to hurt kids. He's not going to eat people. He's not just going to destroy an entire city block because he can. That's Shocker. He's not like Batman's rogues.
Why did he let Dr. Octopus take his fucking body when he could have just thrown a pebble at Dr. Octopus's head and knocked him out?
TJ, he didn't let Dr. Octopus just take his body. You should read the Amazing Spider-Man issue 600 all the way to 700. That was the Octobots. It wasn't something like he just did. He just never realized it was happening, and his spider sense also never went off when they were around. But yeah, Otto used these Octobots to basically tap his brainstem when he wasn't looking. And that's how he transferred his mind to, his body. And that's how he became the superior Spider-Man, because Otto's body was actually dying. He only had a year to live. Now, Peter did try to get his body back, but Otto had already planned for that. He didn't just let that happen. And yeah, he could have killed Otto Octavius whenever he wanted to, but Otto Octavius is nowhere near as bad as any of Batman's rogues. Like, he's not eating babies, stealing kids, just beating women left and right. He's not doing any of that. He's just a mad genius who really just needs his ass whooped every now and then. That's pretty much it. Like most of the stuff that solves his problems is usually him just getting his ass whipped.
Octopus is a dude, take him out. You can ask this question with every fucking character other than Punisher. And even with Punisher, why doesn't Punisher go after the big fucking human guys? There's a question for him. He takes on all these low-level goons and shit. Bro, go take out Green Goblin. He's bullet level.
DJ, why are you acting like he hasn't tried this shit already? I'm just wondering why you think he hasn't tried any of this before. Plus, we're talking about Green Goblin, right? The same Green Goblin who's just as or could possibly more stronger than Spider-Man. You can also dodge bullets, just as durable. There's a flight pack, bombs, missiles. You barely fighting Kingpin. Don't even get me started on who else he's fought. Like you really said that like he hasn't tried already. Like, you even said it yourself.
Okay, we've seen Punisher take out Rhino with one shot. We've seen him take on dark elves and shit. Why doesn't Punisher just go take out Red Skull? He should be high on his fucking list, right? Like, it's fuck up, dude. It's such a dumb fucking argument.
But TJ, you acknowledge that he's went after these bigger characters. There's a reason why they're not dead. They're hard to kill. TJ, Red Skull has telepathic abilities. If Frank even tried fighting him, he'd die. You're like, well, he should be high on his list. Absolutely. But if Captain America and the Avengers have a hard enough time trying to stop him, you think Frank got a shot? Like, that's sweet of you, but like you think Frank got a shot? Let me explain this to you, TJ. Frank Castle would rather fight Rhino in a closed room Then to fight Wilson Fisk. He's got a hard enough time dealing with Spider-Man's rogues. You can't even deal with Doc Ock, and you think he finna fight Green Goblin? No. 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 I can hear Frank right now keep my name out of it.
Good writing would be to put something in place that hinders them from doing that. So there's a reason they couldn't take that route, right? That doesn't really work in comic books, though. In established worlds with other heroes, other characters, blah, 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 blah. You can't just go, well, this one character's gonna make this one decision and stop everything from here on out. Because first, that ends the comics. No more comic books, no more villains. But second, just there are moving pieces in this world. Why doesn't Superman stop everything in Metropolis from ever happening?
But that's the problem, TJ. People are upset with terrible writing. They don't care about all that. They want good writing. They want really good writing, and they haven't gotten it for a long time. That's why when Peter Parker's stories aren't doing well, people crash out. People crashed out so bad, they started threatening the writer because his stories were so bad. They're doing the same thing when it comes to Batman. What you guys want is for people not to critique Batman, but to critique everybody else, which everybody is just as harsh with everybody else. And not just Batman. They're just so much more harsher than Batman because the companies are at least making efforts to like push these other characters forward. Batman is he's just stuck in the same spot. He's been doing the same shit over and over again. But you knew that. You knew that. Like, once again, you can't compare any other city in Marvel and DC to Gotham. You can't. Because every other city in Marvel and DC has grown. It's progressed. They shine. They're better. A lot of their villains have been rehabilitated. Gotham is literally the same. Ain't nothing changing. But continue. And the thing that you're arguing with, well, there's usually something that's put in place to stop certain heroes from doing certain things. Yeah, that thing in DC Comics is Batman. The reason why Gotham is the way it isn't because of the villains. It's because of Batman. That's what it's not clicking to you. That's what people are arguing. He is the sole reason why Gotham is the way it is. It isn't just the villains. It's him. Because TJ, he's a villain. He's not a superhero. He's a mentally ill grown-ass man beating up on other mentally ill people. And people are fucking tired of that.
Why doesn't Superman stop everything in Metropolis from ever happening again? Because there are so many villains in Metropolis that can start other things from happening. Superman stops one thing, something else will happen. For example, if Batman stopped everything in Gotham, if I'm not mistaken, some scientists fucked around and made Gotham Girl and Gotham Man. Two heroes with the powers of Superman that were strong enough, and that's it. They are strong enough. That is their power. They are strong enough to be you. The end. Yeah, throw some bills at that. Throw a couple billion at that and stop it. Like, things are always happening in these worlds. These worlds are constantly moving. They're alive. So things are constantly happening. Like I said, if Superman stopped everything in Metropolis, motherfucker, Inner Gang lives there, and they're connected with Darkseid, and they're constantly being employed by Darkseid to fuck with Metropolis, and like Granny Goodness and shit is constantly giving them new weapons and stuff. If Superman stopped them, you don't think Darkseid would like send some parademons to shake some shit up or something? You don't think Lex Luthor would have some other shit in place? If Superman stopped everything Lex Luthor was doing, you don't think he would have some backup plan in place just in case? Like, come on, bro. Come the fuck on. That is all.
But that's the thing, TJ. In all these cities, crime is so low that usually when something pops off, it's because of something outside, like Darkseid or Brainiac. Occasionally, it is Lex Luthor. But most of Superman and everybody else's villains are taken care of. And it is what it is. Even with the Gotham guy and Gotham girl scenario, the Justice League took care of that for Batman. But what you keep missing is people's gripe is that the city and the character itself, they're just not growing. They're not growing at all. But you knew that. Other than that, you guys have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Why doesn't Batman just use all his money to help Gotham? Why doesn't he get a magic user to come uncurse Gotham? Why doesn't he get Superman to come help with Gotham? Why doesn't he do this? Why doesn't Ghost Rider hunt down every criminal on the planet before they can do crime? He can sense crime. He can sense sin. Why doesn't Ghost Rider stay in Ghost Rider form at all times, drive around and stop crime? Why doesn't Flash stay as a lightning bolt like he did in Kingdom Come? Why doesn't he just stay a constantly running fucking hero that stops crime whenever it happens? Why doesn't Flash put an earpiece in that's connected to Superman so that every time Superman hears a crime, Flash can go stop it? Matter of fact, why doesn't Superman just float above the planet in orbit like a satellite, and every time someone's about to do a crime, shoot their hand with heat vision? Oh, they're about to steal something? You're about to rob somebody? You pull a gun out? Why doesn't he just stop that? Why doesn't Martian Manhunter just telepathically connect to every human on the planet and purge the sin from their fucking mind? Why doesn't Professor X just reach across humanity and say, you love mutants now? Why doesn't he just reach across humanity and stop every crime from ever happening? Just reach into everyone's brain, fix every mental illness, fix every single bad thought, and make it good. Why doesn't that happen? It's because it's fucking stupid, dude. And then we wouldn't have fucking comic books. It's a dumb fucking question. I thought we were over this shit, bro. And it's always Batman, dude. It is always Batman. Why doesn't he use his money? Why doesn't he use his money? Why doesn't he use his money? Yeah, throw some bills at Solomon Grundy. Yeah, throw a couple million at fucking Poison Ivy. She's connected to the Green. Throw a couple million at her. Yeah, when Barbados was like residing under Gotham or whatever, throw a couple billy at him. That'll work. Clayface? Throw a couple billy at him. That'll fix it. You know, it doesn't, but Professor Pig, throw a couple billy at him. Mad Hatter, throw some bills at him, bro. That'll fix him. What are we talking about? And Clayface, Professor Pig, Mad Hatter, they might be different because Clayface has been a hero before. Mad Hatter and Professor Pig, you could try to say that's linked to mental illness and shit. But Batman in the comics helps fund mental hospitals, helps fund Arkham, helps fund hospitals, helps fund the GCPD. Like, bro, these are questions that have been asked before. It's stupid to try to presume that would just work. Why doesn't Superman just one punch everyone? Oh, why doesn't Spider-Man take out every villain before they do anything? He said before in comics, oh, he holds back in every fucking fight ever. Then why did he let Rhino run through that school bus? Why did he let Rhino take down that apartment building? He could have just one punched him. He could have just taken him out. Why does he let fucking Shocker continue to rob banks? Why does Green Goblin continue to go bad? Why did he let Dr. Octopus take his fucking body when he could have just thrown a pebble at Dr. Octopus's head and knocked him out? Throw a bus at him first so that the arms are a little fucking preoccupied and then skip a pebble on the ground going towards his head. Dr. Octopus is a dude, take him out. You can ask this question with every fucking character other than Punisher. And even with Punisher, why doesn't Punisher go after the big fucking human guys? There's a question for him. He takes out all these low-level goons and shit. Bro, go take out Green Goblin. He's bullet level, okay? We've seen Punisher take out Rhino with one shot. We've seen him take on Dark Elves and shit. Why doesn't Punisher just go take out Red Skull? He should be high on his fucking list, right? Like, shut the fuck up, dude. It's such a dumb fucking argument. And for the intellectuals really quick, who would just be like, well, that is a good question. It's not a dumb argument. It is a smart question because blah, blah, blah. I understand that when it comes to movies. For example, if in a movie, you're like, well, why didn't they just do this to fix the problem? That's an obvious fix. Why didn't they just do that? Good writing would be to put something in place that hinders them from doing that. So there's a reason they couldn't take that route, right? That doesn't really work in comic books, though. In established worlds with other heroes, other characters, blah, 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 blah. You can't just go, well, this one character is going to make this one decision and stop everything from here on out. Because first, that ends the comics. No more comic books, no more villains. But second, just there are moving pieces in this world. Why doesn't Superman stop everything in Metropolis from ever happening again? Because there are so many villains in Metropolis that can start other things from happening. Superman stops one thing, something else will happen. For example, if Batman stopped everything in Gotham, if I'm not mistaken, some scientists fucked around and made Gotham Girl and Gotham Man. Two heroes with the powers of Superman that were strong enough, and that's it. They are strong enough. That is their power. They are strong enough to beat you. The end. Yeah, throw some bills at that. Throw a couple billion at that and stop it. Like, things are always happening in these worlds. These worlds are constantly moving. They are alive. So things are constantly happening. Like I said, if Superman stopped everything in Metropolis, motherfucker, Inner Gang lives there, and they're connected with Darkseid, and they're constantly being employed by Darkseid to fuck with Metropolis, and like Granny Goodness and shit is constantly giving them new weapons and stuff. If Superman stopped them, you don't think Darkseid would like send some parademons to shake some shit up or something? You don't think Lex Luthor would have some other shit in place? If Superman stopped everything Lex Luthor was doing, you don't think he would have some backup plan in place just in case? Like, come on, bro. Come the fuck on. That is all. So King Lion replied to my video. And what do you know? He completely ignored everything about the video except for the Ghost Rider claim and the Poison Ivy claim that I made. I didn't feel like clipping the video and shit like that, so I'll just explain what happened. Basically, if you want to go watch it, you can. He just clipped my video and talked about me saying, like, why doesn't Ghost Rider ride around and just kill every sinner at all times? And he says, oh, that's what he does. That's what he does. And then he continues to show, like, a panel of Ghost Rider being a human. Which I know, like, the point of the Ghost Riders, it's a transformation and da-da-da-da-da, right? But my whole point, the point of that video, I wasn't harping on Ghost Rider, buddy. I know Ghost Rider's your favorite superhero. I follow you, King Lion, okay? But the point of that wasn't, why doesn't Ghost Rider do this? I literally just threw Ghost Rider in there as an offhand thing because he senses crime. The point of the video is, why doesn't Batman do this? Why doesn't Batman do this? Why doesn't Batman do this? Why doesn't Flash stay a lightning bolt? Why doesn't Superman stay a fucking sentry guarding the goddamn Earth? Why doesn't Superman bust out his reality cauterizing heat vision at all times in every fight no matter what happens? Why doesn't Superman go bathe in a white sun? Sorry, my girl called me, but the point of the video was missed, okay? And of course, he fucking clipped my video up, showed it to his audience, and his audience is gonna, because I like King Lion's content, I really do, but his audience is fucking insufferable. It is so fucking insufferable. They just, oh my god, they just, with this man's fucking meat, dude. It is so fucking annoying. I get it. Respecting, loving a creator, blah, blah, blah. I get it. He always pulls up the receipts and stuff, but Jesus fucking Christ. Like, relax.
You can Google why I don't like Batman. Even Google knows. Ain't that some shit? Bottom line is, if y'all want me to answer his entire fucking video, I can do that. But you'll have to get these comments to at least 1,000. At least. So, besides that, I'm King Lion. I hope you have a great day. And I would read a little bit more. I would. Oh, and if you watch this video and you get angry and you want to yell and scream and you feel offended, do that. I'll be here waiting for you. We're going to go band for band. Besides that, I'm King Lion. You guys have a great day.
The funny thing is, King Lion, the funny thing is, there is no band for band. You missed the entire point of the video, I think, brother. The point isn't, oh, Ghost Rider does look for sin. Bruh, the point is, when you open a Ghost Rider comic, he is most likely in human form. He is most likely walking around, talking to people. If he is in Ghost Rider form, he shifts back and he goes to sleep. He eats. He watches things, just like you showed. He's in a bar drinking and shit. He's doing human things. He's not constantly being a sentry of crime stopping. He's not going around the world using his full 100% power to stop all crime. Just like the Flash isn't doing that. Just like Jean Grey, the fucking Phoenix, isn't doing that. Just like every fucking character in comics who literally has instances that show, just like the Flash, has instances that show he's way too fast to be getting fucked up by these nobodies and shit. Just like when people say, oh, well, Spider-Man's this strong, but then there's like instances where he's getting beaten up by Vulture and shit like that. Oh, but Spider-Man's so strong. My question is, why doesn't Spider-Man go 100% in every engagement? Why doesn't Superman go 100% in every engagement, stop all crime, end everything instantly? It's the same argument people have with Batman. Why doesn't Batman use his money to stop everything ever, forever? Why doesn't Flash use his speed to stop everything ever forever? And I bet you're gonna reply, because he said, get this to 1,000 comments and I'll reply to every single one of his claims. And I bet he's just gonna say something like, oh, well, Flash can't do this because his villains specifically contend for that, and so they like blah, 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 blah. And Superman can't do this because there are villains that like specifically contend for that or some shit. Or maybe Superman can't do this because Kryptonite exists and they'll stop him, or fucking Mongol will show up, or Darkseid can hurt him, or there's people that can harm Superman and he can't just float around at all times because he also has a life to live, or whatever you want to say. It doesn't matter. That's not my point. My point is, it's a dumb argument, okay? It's a dumb argument. Like, yes, we can argue that the writing for Batman is stupid. So, like, yes, I don't agree with the no-kill rule. I think the writing for that is stupid. We can argue that. But what we're arguing here is, why doesn't Batman end his comics forever and never have a reason to be in a story ever again? That is your argument. And I understand wanting the books to build around that argument and make it to where that argument doesn't exist anymore. But it just doesn't make sense to me, because it's, like I said, why doesn't Batman stop all crime in Gotham forever? So, Mr. Terrific, let's talk about him, because he uses his money for better technology. I think Batman's technology is weak as fuck for, like, everyone else in the universe and what he could have. So, why doesn't Mr. Terrific, with his fucking multiversal, dimensional traveling, not multiversal, I'm using hyperbole here, but with his insanely powerful T-spheres, why doesn't he stop all crime in every city? Why doesn't it, like, Ted Kord, any of these other fucking insanely smart billionaires, why don't they stop all crime everywhere? Why doesn't every hero ever work together to stop all crime everywhere? Why don't the Avengers, when they're on their solo runs, all just call Thor to stop the fucking fight? That is the argument you're arguing. And it's just, like, immature or something. I don't know, dude. It's just tired. It's tired, dude. And goddamn, bro, like, again, I like your content, King Lion, but fuck, you and this elitist ass fucking mindset. I never said I was a fucking expert in comic books, and yet here comes King Lion to say, I don't think you're as learned as you think you are. I don't think you know the comic books as much as you think you do. Maybe you need to go back and read. You condescending cock, dude. Like, I get it's your persona. I get it. It's who you are. It's how you make money. But fuck, dude. Fuck. Every time you have a fucking interaction with someone, it's just like you're going on them. And then you go, but I help the kids. But I help the kids. Every time you're massively disrespectful to somebody, which I'm not saying you're massively disrespectful to me. You are condescending as shit. But anytime you're like disrespectful to somebody, you're just like, oh, and everyone hates me even though I help the kids. Even though I'm the only one giving away free comic books. I'm the only one teaching the youth about no one gives a fuck, bro. God. Maybe approach these situations differently and you'd have a different fucking image on here, dude. Good God. It's like, again, I like your content, but your persona, it's addicting. I'll be honest, but I get an icky vibe sometimes from you when you're being this way towards people. And then your fan base makes you hard to like, twin. Your fan base makes you hard to like, and you foster it. You don't like stop them. Okay. These fans will go to other I will see a Batman edit, and it'll just be people in the fucking comments like, oh yeah, you guys like the Bat-sexuals talking about, bitch Wayne, blah, blah, blah. Who's talking about that, dude? Like, fuck. And I get that's probably a badge of honor to you because you love that, like, you're on Google, you're on, like, YouTube, you love that, like, people know you, and so people take your shit into other people's fucking comment sections and, like, peddle your shit. But, like, god damn, nigga, does it all have to be so negative? And I know that's coming from me, a guy who screams all the time, and I know I guess you watch some of my shit because you said, if you want to scream and cry and get offended, I'll be here. But, like, god, an upset dude to an upset dude, bro. Relax, twin. Okay. But honored to be on the channel. Okay. And I doubt he's gonna watch this full video, but this isn't me getting all offended, being like, oh, take it easy on me. So, cause I saw you make a video before being like, I'm gonna be nice now. Okay, sweetie? I'm gonna be nice to you because I don't want to hurt your feelings. You ain't gotta do all that to me. You ain't gotta do all that to me, honey boo boo. Okay. If you want to fucking continue doing whatever the fuck you want to do, I'm just giving my King Lion thoughts. All right. King Lion takes. Actually, I'll tell a little story time. We've interacted before, King Lion. When I first got on TikTok, you were the first person I ever saw on TikTok. Which is why, I don't know if you saw, but you have a direct message from me. When I blew up, I messaged you and I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, thank you. You like gave me confidence to post because I started on a comic book account, where I just talked about superhero stuff. But, you were the first person I watched on TikTok, and one day I was in an Impound Comics live with you in there, and it was like Superman versus Thor, Lobo versus Black Bolt, and somebody versus somebody. I said in the comments that I thought Lobo would win. I said Lobo beats Black Bolt easy. You saw my comment and started being like, oh my god, this comment, and then you read it and you were like, this is why, bro, the people in this community are so ignorant, bro. They don't even read comics. This shit is why I get so, like, I don't even remember everything you said, but I remember specifically you called me ignorant multiple times, which isn't that crazy of a thing. But I was in the comments like, ignorant? Lobo, what? For my opinion, ignorant? And you just kept going, and I was like, what the fuck? And so I left that at that. A couple months later, I saw you were live again. I came in there and I spammed a little bit just so you'd see it. I said, King Lion, Lobo versus Black Bolt, who you got? Lobo versus Black Bolt, who you got? Lobo versus Black Bolt, who you got? Bro finally sees it and goes, Lobo versus Black Bolt? Lobo. Brought a little toothpick in his mouth or whatever. Bro said, Lobo. Twin. Twin. Thank you though. And shout out to the people who added me in it. Okay. GG. So something else with King Lion, if you see this, is I don't like how you pretend that you are just this victim. You are just this target that everyone comes after. When you spoke to me how you did in the video you made, I didn't say a word about you in my video. Didn't bring you up once. Multiple times in your video, you were like, this isn't to call you out. Yes, it is. You also sat there like, I don't think you know as much as you think you do. And in your comments, you're like, I can't wait for y'all to get to 1,000 so I can debunk the rest of these. Yeah, oh, somebody else said he made some good points in his video, and you're like, name some. You're just like, you're not directly attacking me, but you're jabbing me with a sword. Okay, you're jabbing me. And then you make videos like a couple months ago. You got into a car crash, if I'm not mistaken, which I'm not making fun of that at all. Not where I'm going with this. But afterwards, I guess you had like a different thought process about life or something because you made a video being like, no matter what I do, I'm the monster. No matter what I do, everyone hates me and I'm the villain in everyone's story. No matter what I do, I'll always be the bad guy. This is why, brother. This is why. And I get it's just about comics and shit, but like, bro, you've got to understand. When you have a platform like you do, and I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, I literally come on here and call people donkeys and fucking bitches and shit, okay? But I don't also throw up a shield and go, but I do this, but I help people, and I empower the kids. I don't make any allusions to who I am, okay? I am who I am, all right? But I do not like the whole, I'm just always getting attacked. I'm just King Lion. I'm just King Lion. I'm just the guy who informs people about comics. I don't like going from that to, oh, I don't think you're as smart as you think you are, sweetie. I don't think you're like, bro, come the fuck on. Come on, bro. Make a video, debunk me, whatever. I don't care. And again, in the other video, you're probably also going to make the claim, because in my video, I said a lot of things like, why doesn't Flash run around at all times and stop crime? Why doesn't Superman float in space? Your argument will probably also be because they have lives and they need to live them. Meanwhile, Batman could just use his money to stop all crime everywhere. My argument is, why don't you argue that with any other billionaire in any fucking comic? Why is it only Batman? Tony Stark has made celestial fucking armors before. He can't just put a shield over the world, create sentries that just watch for crime. He can't do that. Are you serious? Green Arrow, Ted Kord, fucking Mr. Terrific can't all come together, pool their money together, and create like a worldwide defense service that at least stops low-level crimes from happening on a like daily basis? But no, let's only harp on Gotham and let's only harp on Batman. That's the point of my video. That's the point. You can go through and debunk every fucking character that I brought up in my video if you want. I literally just characters that popped into my mind. I wasn't sitting there like, I'm gonna pick this hero, this hero, this hero, this hero. I just thought about characters that have the ability to do certain things, okay? And another argument you could make is that Batman's villains are all mostly human, so why doesn't he just stop them? I could also make the argument that most of Spider-Man's villains are human, most of them have the IQ of a fucking toad, and most of them he could one-punch knock out, and yet he doesn't. The original Sinister Six consists of Doc Ock, Electro, Sandman, Vulture, Kraven, and Mysterio. 2 of them, their weakness is water. The rest of them are dudes. Like, we can go back and forth with this argument, but regardless, that's not even really the point. I'm not asking, like, the point is, even if Batman were to go and stop all crime in Gotham as it is right now, put every villain away, stop all crime. These worlds are living, these worlds are breathing. More crime would pop up. And at some point, it would be crime to an extent Batman himself couldn't contend with. And then you get into the question of why doesn't he call in Superman? Why doesn't he do this? Why doesn't he do this? Which is a different question altogether, because you can ask that to every single character ever. Every character has a villain. Every character has a supervillain, and they know a hero that completely counters their fucking supervillain and shit, dude. So again, just to reiterate, you're gonna go like debunk, because you'll probably get to 1,000 comments, let's be real, and you're gonna go debunk all the characters I brought up. Even though I didn't pull out a comic and read all these characters before I made those claims. I just said those things as examples for my point. My point wasn't those characters. My point wasn't what I was saying there. They were just helping me get my point across. Okay? Yeah. I just... blah, blah, blah. So basically, to round all of this out, because I never verbalized my point, really. My point is just extend the same fucking hatred. Like, this is to everybody. Extend the same fucking hatred and scrutiny you do to Batman to every other fucking character, dude. Because there's so many comics I'll read, and I'll just be like, why is Superman allowing this to happen? There's so many comments I'll read where I'll be like, why is Flash allowing this to happen? Just like with my old Invincible videos, I was sitting there like, why the fuck is Invincible allowing this to happen? Like, extend that shit to everyone else. Stop harping on Batman, because it makes it seem like you don't really care about the problem. You're just harping on Batman for some fucking reason. And this might sound like I'm defending Batman. Batman stopped being one of my favorite heroes a while ago because of all of the writing issues I had and shit. I agree with these fucking issues, but I don't agree with just every time coming out of someone's mouth you're complaining about a comic, it's just Batman. Batman has plot armor. Batman has money so he can do anything. Batman this, Batman that, Batman this, Batman that. Every character has plot armor. Every character has things they could have done to make things easier. They just don't. It happens. It's comic books. I'm just so sick of hearing Batman. But then when I bring up something about Spider-Man, I get yelled at. Then I bring up something about Superman or some other fucking character, and I get yelled at. But if it's Batman, it's okay to just fucking harp on it over and 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 over, dude. Fuck. Something else with King Lion. So, I said that you said that I'm not as learned as I think I am. And then you say, I didn't say that. I said, I don't think you know the characters as much as you seem to, or whatever the fuck you just said. Which is basically the same thing, just replaced a couple words. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Also, I love how you clipped around your own video because you know that your own brainless audience won't go back to watch it if they didn't see it, so they'll just take it at face value, and you cut out the parts where you're like, you clipped it to where that seemed like you were being respectful, and I'm just offended, but in the video, you're like, I don't mean to call you out. Yes, I do. And then in the end of the video, you're like, yeah, I think you need to read more. But if you wanna yell and cry and get offended, I'll be waiting for you. I'm King Lion. Okay, buddy. And then you say, I don't think you know these characters as well as you think you do. Just to show a clip of me saying, I didn't look up these claims. I didn't read these claims before fucking making them. Because why the fuck do I need to read a book to know that Superman can fly and use heat vision? Why the fuck do I need to read a book to know the Flash can turn into a fucking living lightning bolt like he did in Kingdom Come? I did read a book. There you go. Why, what are we talking about? I'm talking about the power sets, jackass. Get it through your fucking head. Hold on, actually, my bad. Let me talk like King Lion and maybe his fans will glaze me like they glaze him. Hold on. Okay, sweetie, listen here, honey boo. You missed the point of the video, baby girl, okay? I know you said you're gonna massacre me, honey, but I don't really care because you've continuously missed the point of the video, and your argument is in bad faith, simply put. You started your new video by saying he was just whining about being offended or whatever the fuck you said. He's just in his feelings. Nobody's in their feelings, twin. I'm just talking about how you're a piece of shit. And then when you're a piece of shit, you go, but I help the kids. I'm not a monster. I'm not a villain. I'm a good man. Shut the fuck up, dude. All you do is bitch and moan on this goddamn app. And then anytime somebody says, hey, can you stop bitching and moaning? You go, ah! Who else is buying the comics? None of you pay for the books. I'm not an elitist. Why are you talking about this character? How many books do you have? How many books have you bought? How many comic books do you have? Because look here, sweetie. I have every comic book ever fucking printed, sweetie. Oh, Hulk, I have every book that's ever written, even ones that were never fucking published. Oh, Ghost Rider, I have everything ever thought of. I literally wrote down Stan Lee's thoughts. Like, what the? I'm not an elitist, though. That's not me being an elitist. Okay, King Lion. You got it. You got it, twin. Go ahead and make your second video about me. Yeah, I made 2 videos about you, but I'm a yapper, twin. You're a comic talker. I made 1 video that wasn't about your bitch ass, and you're making multiple about me now. I made a video about your fucking, like, moral standing, nigga. This ain't even about comics anymore because you keep continuously missing my point and then mischaracterizing me to your fucking dumbass audience who's just gonna go, King Lion with prep time is omnipotent. King Lion is better than Batman with prep time. I feel sorry for any of the guys who go against you, Lion. You're always so efficient with the takedowns. Bro, get off your knees. Get off your knees. Oh my god. Also, I just wanted to add, I posted a video yesterday talking about how King Lion does nothing but like be a condescending bitch to people, and then he goes, but I help the kids, I changed the world, I'm helping the kids. 15 minutes after I posted that video, he posted this.
Reading books, and I write myself. And because I do that, I get to change the world in ways that none of my haters ever fucking could. Do you understand what that means? I get to actually sit here, and I get to inspire, and I get to change the world. I get to do what my community says it's supposed to do. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? That's what I get to do.
But go ahead, massacre all my points, massacre my points, and continue to miss it. I will reiterate. I don't give a fuck about the feats of the characters. Those claims weren't for you to power scale and debunk me. Ah! The problem here is, like, there's nothing to debunk. We can talk about my point. We can, like, argue my point even. But again, like I said in my last video, that I don't know if you watched because I didn't watch your recent one. I agree that they should write that Batman uses his money better. I don't like that Batman has low-level tech. John Henry Irons has had a better suit than Batman for fucking decades. I don't like that. I don't like how Mr. Terrific has better tech than him. Lex Luthor has better tech than him. Like, all of these other billionaires make better tech. Meanwhile, Batman can't even fly. He's still using, like, a fucking grapple hook to get to high places. Not anymore in Matt Fraction's run. But regardless, we can talk about how, like, Batman uses his money and, like, the writing behind that. But with the status quo of Batman right now, to, like, see how it is, like, it's been the way it is for fucking ever. And, like, you kind of just have to accept it now. Just like Flash losing to a villain he shouldn't have because of his speed. Kind of the status quo with the comics. You kind of just have to accept it. And my point here is the fact that everyone accepts it with every other character but Batman is fucking annoying and disingenuous. To sit here and be like, Batman this, Batman that, and treat him like a real life person. And he lets people, I just inhaled my hair. He lets people die. He lets people die. He's let so many people die. He's let so many people die right in front of him. The Joker has killed so many people right in front of Batman. And he never stops it. Oh my god. Ah! So no other fucking superhero has, like, villains that kill people? Okay, Spider-Man has stated he holds back in every encounter. If I'm not mistaken, he straight up said in one of his comics he could take out Rhino if he was serious. And yet he allows human motherfuckers to cause property damage, to put people in harm's way, to harm him. He let Doc Ock take his brain. Yeah, that's like an intelligence thing, but first encounter you could have thrown a pebble at Doc Ock's head. Throw a pebble. Oh, the arms can move light speed plus because the arms scale to this, and here's this scan of Doc Ock's arms reacting to a dark elf laser beam. Ah! I don't give a fuck, twin. God, shut the fuck up, dude. Beef over. Last video.